For teachers, the pandemic has been challenging in so many ways. In addition to stressing about our health and the health of our family and students, virtual instruction became our reality with little to no warning or practice. But even as we gradually creep back into the classroom, PPE and other new realities in our world present a whole new set of challenges. In this module, we're going to focus on how to overcome the interpersonal communication challenges associated with mask wearing.
Students not keeping their mask on properly. That's what I see the biggest problem going to be. And because they're so excited to see each other, they're going to want to be on each other, but having to keep them separated. I think it's going to be a challenge. Just making sure that they give them that time to see each other, give them that time to speak to each other, but reminding them, hey, these are the expectations, these are the procedures, these are the protocols. We have to do what we have to do to stay safe.
One of the things I want the kids to understand is if their parents are asking them to wear a face shield, not to worry about what other kids would say about them, because there's going to be other kids and other adults wanting to wear face shields. If they have a face mask that's cloth and is not something that looks like a physician would wear in an operating room, you need to understand any barrier is better than no barrier, and that's extremely important.
Honestly, I think the best strategy, just not even during this time, but any time, is knowing your students and knowing where they come from, knowing their background. And I think, I know my students pretty well, even though I've never met them in person, meeting them online. So it's how to bridge that gap, I guess, between online learning and in person, and just know your students and know their families. And I think that that's a good way to start.
Trying to reason with them and making sure that they understand, and hopefully they do, but not everybody believes in the importance of a mask, and trying to tell them one thing at school if they're getting told something else at home, I think is going to be difficult. So again, just trying to be reasonable and have them use good logic and some compassion and empathy, and just kind of roll with it as things come, I guess.
The science is clear that wearing an approved mask greatly decreases the risks of spreading or catching an airborne virus. As such, back in the classroom, we have a responsibility to wear a mask and to remind our students to do the same. But while masks are a necessity to keep everyone safe, they do present some challenges in addition to compliance. While wearing a mask, you can still hear me as long as I raise my voice a bit and clearly enunciate my words. What I can't do, however, is communicate using my facial expressions. You can't tell if I'm smiling and happy or frowning and sad. Facial expressions play a major role in our communications, and with masks hiding our faces, we'll need to compensate in some key ways. Seeing only your eyes or hearing only words are often insufficient to effectively communicate. Take a look at these pictures. Each would lead you to believe something about the person's mood. The girl appears sad, and the man appears mad. But let's get more context. With a fuller view to provide context, it's clear that both the girl and the man are happy, overjoyed even. As we prepare for students while we're all wearing masks, there are some key things we'll have to keep in mind to overcome the challenges associated with restricted interpersonal communication. We're going to have to create the context necessary using tone and body language. It can be done. Think about the millions of women who wear veils and yet are able to effectively communicate. It just takes some special thought and actions to make it work. We're going to talk about strategies that we'll call verbal, nonverbal, and paraverbal. Verbal strategies are most obvious and involve how we use our words. Nonverbal strategies are also fairly familiar and include gestures and signs. Paraverbal are probably the least familiar, and these consider tone and other ways you use your voice to communicate. Let's start with verbal strategies. Again, these are the most common and include things we might often do even when not wearing a mask. This involves verbally stating what we are thinking and feeling. As we do this, we want to consider the best way to communicate affect and emotion. The key is to be explicit about your emotions and to ask students to do the same. Here are some simple examples.
Okay, guys, when you finish your problem, make sure that you do the questionnaire and the self-check.
So I was thinking if we leave and go to my house.
Can you talk louder? I can't hear you.
Yeah, when you finish your problem,
It's at
do
like
the
7,
self-check
So if we leave
and
at
the
3
questionnaire
o'clock,
as well.
We should get there on
And you guys
time.
can go ahead and get
If
started.
we get our makeup and stuff ready, then we can be there at like 4.
If you don't mind, please don't talk when I'm talking. It's because it's frustrating, and then I worry that everybody else isn't getting the instruction and they're missing something.
I was just gonna ask for a book.
That I can get for you. Again, if you don't mind, just raise your hand next time. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, show me the answer that you came up with that described the character. Great. Oh, that is awesome. I love it when you guys get the right answer.
Did we all get it right?
Yes, you did. I am so proud of you.
Yes.
Yes. You know, I've expressed how I feel when you guys do great things. Why don't you tell me how you feel? Start with you.
Super. Happy.
Great. Amazing.
Great. You know, I am so proud of you, and I can just see how proud you are of yourselves and smiling right through your mask.
Bye, guys. Have a good day. See ya. Hey, Jack, can you hang on just a second?
Yeah.
Bye, Mr. Ryan.
Bye. Some of the things you said in class today really kind of bothered me. Do you think you know what I'm talking about?
I guess.
And can you tell me what you were thinking?
I was just trying to be funny.
I mean, it's always fun to make jokes and have fun, but do you think you might have hurt Randall and Joanna's feelings if they would have heard you?
Yeah, I might have.
And how does that make you feel, knowing that you hurt their feelings?
I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings or anything.
I know, and I know you're not a mean kid, so maybe we think about for next time the kinds of things that we say and how they might affect other people.
Yeah, I can try harder.
All right, I have full confidence that you'll get that done. Have a good day, Jack.
You too.
Being explicit in this way is helpful to provide students with a context that otherwise might be missing. Notice that these teachers used affective statements, were honest with students, asked students to identify their own emotions, and created a safe space for honest expression to happen. While verbal strategies are more explicit, there are nonverbal ways to do this same thing. These include overly accentuated facial expressions and body language, or the use of hand signals or gestures. For example, notice how my eyes can show a smile if I really exaggerate a smile or really frown. And we all know what mad looks like. Parents and teachers are both good at giving a knowing look, prompting the student to stop what they are doing. I can also use some basic gestures very easily. Or I can use body language to indicate happy or sad. In a more explicit manner, we could teach students to use American Sign Language to sign emotions. It's up to us to choose the right nonverbal strategies for our unique students. One more nonverbal consideration. When wearing a mask, it'll take students longer to get a feel for our mood and intent. And for students with trauma, this could be a trigger. To prevent this, it's important that we approach students slowly, even hesitating. Consider these examples.
Okay, the next thing you guys are going to do is to partner up with the person across the aisle from you and share one of your answers. It can be an example or an explanation or whatever gets your point across the best. And share one of your examples with your partner.
Okay, you guys show me what you think the character was feeling. Awesome job. Good job.
So did we all get it right?
Yes, you did. You did a great job.
Yes!
Yes. Now, tell me, guys, how you're feeling about this.
Super.
Happy.
Great. Amazing.
Well, let me show you how I'm feeling about it. Good job, guys. Good job.
Did you all happen to see the news story last night about the woman who wanted to buy a gun? Looks like a few of you did, several people. I know we've been using sign language to kind of express our emotions more. Can you show me how that made you feel? It made me feel pretty sad. Yeah. Seems like a lot of different people can feel different ways, and it all be the same story. Emily, I saw you said sad. What made you sad about the story?
It wasn't the story that made me sad. I'm sad because I have a different opinion than others about it, and I feel like if I share that, then people will hate me.
I appreciate you opening up and telling us how you feel. AJ, what about you?
I felt really strongly about it, but I can understand how Emily might have seen it different than I did, and I think it's okay to disagree as long as we're respectful of one another.
You guys make me very proud to know that you can have these conversations and share how you feel and still be respectful of one another. That's great.
Across all of these examples, the teacher was able to effectively communicate their affect and emotions through nonverbal means. Sometimes this involved exaggerated expressions and body language, and at other times it was just a simple signal or gesture. But there's one more set of strategies, the paraverbal. Let's consider some of these. You probably haven't heard of paraverbal communication strategies, but chances are you've considered these when communicating with students. Paraverbal strategies are those that involve considerations related to tone, wording, and phrasing. Clearly, we can say the same thing using the same words, but do so in a way that gives two very different impressions. For example, see how these two identical statements have different meanings. Do you think you can finish that today? Compared to, do you think you can finish that today? Same question, but one makes it feel like I'm belittling you, and the other makes it feel like I care. These are the types of paraverbal things we want to consider. By this same token, we must consider whether student comments mean what we think they mean. They are wearing masks too, and sometimes we don't have enough context to know whether a student was being genuine, sarcastic, or even disrespectful. Lashing out at students based on our perceptions of intent is known as tone policing, and it's something we want to avoid. A big part of this is related to cultural awareness and cultural relativity. Remember, people from various cultural and racial backgrounds often have different communication styles. This can result in a teacher misinterpreting what a student is intending. This contributes to racial disproportionality in subjective discipline referrals, which impacts overall disproportionality in discipline. Our comments and focus should be directed at content. When we aren't certain about the content a student is communicating, it is best to be direct, to ask him or her to clarify their comments, or even to say, "Do you mean this or that?" in saying that. The important thing is that we don't want to react in an inappropriate manner and provoke an escalation. Watch how these teachers use this strategy.
Okay, to finish things off for today, I want you guys to write down one positive thing that you got from class today.
I don't think I can.
What did you mean by you don't think you can? Is there something wrong?
I got my finger stuck under my desk and I'm having trouble holding a pencil.
Oh, well, how about you tell me and I just write it down for you?
I guess.
In this case, it was good that the teacher determined the student's comments to be genuine rather than disrespectful. But let's look at what would happen if the student was disrespectful.
Okay, the last thing that we're going to do today is I want you guys to think of one positive thing from class and write that down in your notebooks.
I don't think I can.
You mean you don't think you can? Is there something wrong?
The lesson was boring.
I'm sorry. I tried to make it as engaging as I could without making you guys just sit there and read.
Well, it was still boring.
Okay, it's a little frustrating to hear. Instead of writing something positive, do you think you could just tell me something I could do better for the next time?
I guess.
In this case, where the student's intent was disrespect, the teacher was able to respond by talking about feelings and then walk away with a clear expectation. Note that there was no need for an argument or drawn-out exchange. The teacher was able to communicate appropriately and move on.
I just love how you guys are working so hard today. I love how you're getting everything finished.
Even Colton got it done. He hardly ever gets it done.
Francis, Colton always gets his work done. He works.
You don't have to get mad. I was just saying he got it done.
Listen, I'm sorry, okay? You have to understand, we all work at different paces. We kind of have to take care of ourselves.
I guess. But he is slower a lot of the time.
Well, just remember, we're all good at some things and we're all not so good at some things. We just have to basically take care of ourselves and make sure we're getting our work done. You understand?
Yeah.
Thank you.
One suggestion in terms of considering your own tone is to tape record yourself interacting with others and listen closely to your tone. Or ask others to listen to your tone. Are you sounding the way you intended to sound? Further, are there ways that you could alter tone, volume, or physical features of your communication for the better?
So I've really been struggling to get the kids to settle down in the beginning of the class so we can get started.
And what do you typically do?
I mean, I tell them what I need them to do. I give them explicit instructions. I stand over the top of them and I tell them to sit down as loudly as I can so that they can hear me.
Yeah, that might be a part of a problem. You see, when you have that tenor with the kids, they're thinking you don't like being there, you don't like being a teacher. I don't think it works very well.
Oh, I didn't realize I sounded that bad.
No, I don't mean it's that bad. I just mean I know you to be a kind person. I think everybody does. And I think that personality isn't showing through, and it would help if it did.
All right, and maybe give them some sort of incentive to want to sit down and get started.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so maybe try, hey guys, we need to settle in so that you can get your homework done so that you don't have to do anything later on.
Yes. Now those directions are exactly the same, but said in such a way that it feels really comfortable. And if I was a kid, I'd want to follow those directions.
All right, I'm gonna try that next period.
Yeah, I think that's great.
In summary, while masks create another set of challenges for us, like everything else, we can overcome this with a positive attitude and consideration of some basic strategies. We thank you all for being an advocate for children and youth and appreciate your efforts to make the best of a challenging situation.